it back 5. Touchdown, Breakers.
Yo, what is going on, Breaker Nation? It's your boy Leaux. I'm back in here. Suffered our first loss of the season, but hey, it's okay. We're going to be all right. This is professional sports. Like, nobody's going undefeated. Nobody does it. So don't overreact too much. This team is still good. Our defense had a really good performance, which is promising. Offense didn't do a whole lot, but everybody has bad games. I'm glad that we could get this game out of the way now rather than later. Get this game out of the way now, midway through the season. You take your lumps, you go watch the film, you see your mistakes, rather than in the playoffs when it's too late. You know what I mean? If you have a bad game in the playoffs, it's too late. You lost, it's over. Your season's over. So I'm glad they got this out of the way now. But, yeah, so Week 6, look, we're still, by the way, we're 4-1. We're still the number one team in the league record-wise. We have a 2-game lead in the South because we have a head-to-head over both teams behind us. We are okay. We are okay. I'm glad that it was Memphis and not Houston or Birmingham because that would have made things a lot more difficult. So we'll be all right. Now, Week 6, we got the Stars. Got to bounce back. This team cannot be taken lightly. A lot of people have them 8th or 7th. In their power rankings or whatever, but you still cannot take this team lightly. So I'm going to get into some players to watch, as I always do. You guys know that. McLeod, Bethel-Thompson. Look, Philadelphia has some good players in the secondary, but holistically their secondary is still shaky. So McLeod, how can he, protect the ball, and what can he do in this game? And then also Sage Surratt. He's a leading receiver in the USFL. What can he do this week? I think he can attack Philadelphia in the middle of the field and hopefully get some yards out of that. And then defensively, Henri Saint-Amour might be one of the more underrated players in the league. This guy had a monster game. He was good last season, and I always recognize that. Bellamy got all the attention last season, but Henri Saint-Amour was super good in the run game last year in run support, and he's been really good this year again. He's gotten more sacks. So, he's really stepped up. And the Stars' offensive line is still rough. Now, they did a little bit better the other day, but still rough. So, Henri Saint-Amour is a guy to watch. Can he get to Case Cookus and cause havoc? We shall see. Case Cookus is a player to watch for Philadelphia. Obviously, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the USFL. I still believe that. And, even when with the offensive line struggles, you never know when this guy's going to put together a game. And it was about this time last year that they started putting it together. So, Corey Coleman, former first-round wide receiver, in the NFL, he's made big plays for them at times, and he's, shown you why he was a former first-round pick. So this is a guy that we've got to be on top of. Adam Rodriguez, look, we had issues against Memphis with their pass rush and getting to McLeod Bethel-Thompson. So Rodriguez is a guy that we're going to have to keep an eye on. He's really good. He's also another one of those edge rushers that's pretty underrated in the USFL. He had 9 sacks last year. I picked him to be my defensive player of the year this year just because I kind of didn't know who to pick, and I thought he might be solid. So he may not be up to that level, but he's still really good. So now I'm going to get into some offensive keys, as I always do. Look, you got to start fast. You had 3 plays in the first quarter against Memphis. Cannot happen. That cannot happen at all. So we got to start faster, protect the ball. 3 turnovers, very uncharacteristic by this team. Again, it can't happen. We got to protect the ball this game, and we got to finish drives. We had a couple trips to the red zone, the red zone. We did score on one of them, but still, we got to do a better job of finishing drives. We got to get points. We got to start fast. We got to protect the ball, and we got to finish drives. We got to get those touchdowns, or at least get into field goal range, put some points on the board. Now, looking at some defensive keys to victory, We got to get pressure on Case Cookis. Their offensive line is still not the best in the world, so we got to get him off his game, disrupt him. If he's off balance, if he's off platform, it's going to be a lot more difficult to be accurate. So get him flustered, get him out of the pocket, make him move around, and you can probably cause some more incompletions. Defend those crossers. Something I've noticed dating back to the first game last season when we played Philadelphia, they run a lot of crossing routes and mesh routes and stuff like that underneath. So you got to be able to defend those and keep them in front of you and not let them, just be running free on a crosser and get 20 yards and stuff like that. You just can't have that. So we got to defend those crossers. And it kind of ties into it, but just don't let any big plays. The defense doesn't do that, but Philadelphia is always a team that can strike you with a big play. As there's a train going by. Love it. Gotta love it. Yep, there it is. Gosh. All right, anyway, weekly picks. We've got Pittsburgh playing Memphis. This is kind of a game where it's like which team is legit, maybe not legit, but which team is kind of ascending, like which team is actually real. Like these teams have won a couple of games, starting to put it together a little bit. Which team is for real? So I think Pitt wins that game. The defense is still really good. These are two pretty solid defenses going at it. But Pittsburgh's, probably the top defense in the league. I think they'll make enough plays to win this game. I'm probably this is the one that's going to come back to bite me. I already know it. But I'm picking Michigan. I don't know I feel like if you play 4 home games in a row, at some point you're going to win one of these games, right? Like it's going to happen. Okay. Although I think Birmingham's probably the better team for whatever reason. I think Michigan is finally going to find a way. They're hungry. They're finally going to find a way to get over that hump and get a victory at home. Birmingham traveling. They didn't do all that well last time they traveled against Pitt. I know they won that game, but, man, it was close. It was very close. They had some stuff kind of go their way, so I don't know. And then probably the game of the weekend is New Jersey and Houston. I think Houston's kind of on the up and up, and New Jersey's taking a kind of a step back a little bit. But I think that's kind of why New Jersey might win this game. I think they've got a couple losses in a row. They're hungry. They want a victory. And I know this game is in Memphis, so I guess that kind of favors Houston a little bit. But I think at some point Houston's kind of going to come down a little bit. And just like New Orleans, we lost last week. At a certain point, you got to come down a little bit. It happens. It's sports. So I think at a certain point, Houston's got a couple of big victories. I think they're going to come down a little bit. New Jersey's hungry. They're going to finally kind of get over that hump that they're in right now. They're in a 2-game skid. So, yeah, I got Pittsburgh, Michigan, and New Jersey, which would be a clean northern sweep. Hey, that would be great for me, man. But with us, I've got New Orleans 26, Philadelphia 19. I think this last week showed you that you can't take any team lightly. But I also think that a big part of it was just kind of having a bad game. So now they get a chance to kind of regroup as a team and figure out, hey, we took our loss, right? This is a veteran-led team too. So, hey, we took our loss, regroup, get in the film room, get on the field, and let's go 1-0 this week. And I think they find a way to do it. I think, coming off of that loss, they're going to be hungry. New Orleans is going to be really hungry this week. I know I always say that stuff, but I do think that plays a part in it. When you're coming off of a loss like that, you're mad. You just lost. I know you're mad, the team, they're mad. They just lost. They don't want to lose. And I think Philadelphia had an emotional victory last week against Jersey. They're a good team, I think, and they're probably going to put up a heck of a fight. But I do think that New Orleans should find a way to win this game. So yeah, I'm going to leave that on the screen. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you got to this point, make sure you do all the good stuff, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. But until next time, Breaker Nation, It is your boy Lowe signing off. Peace.